Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to JP's morning brief for February 10th. How are y'all doing today? I am tired. Got home late last night. I went to a GOP forum in Gatesville, which was about 25 miles away. Didn't get home till after 9 o'clock last night. We had a lot of candidates show up, so we were busy. We were busy, and then I wish that Rumble, and I love Rumble. It's awesome. I wish Rumble would come out with some type of user guide, an actual user guide for their platforms, because I wanted to stream it live on my cell phone, and I just couldn't grasp it. I got all the way to where it started broadcasting, but I couldn't get the screen to come on. I tried. I had to upload it onto my Facebook page from ScrewTube, but at least I got it up. But I wish they would come out with some type of user guide for everyone to look at. I mean, that would be awesome. All right. Well, welcome to JP's Morning Brief. This is my just quick morning show for 30 minutes. And to just give you a little bit of a rundown, a minor version of the JP8 report. And I got I have a VA appointment in 4 hours from now, so definitely won't be going over overtime today. And my afternoon podcast will probably be 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'm not sure, but I still want to do it. But I got to get back from my VA appointment first. So welcome to the morning brief. If you are not already a follower to my channel here, please click that follow button and give us a like, please. And then also, I do have a chat going on. If you get involved in the chat, say something, please. Give me an American flag. I'll start us off. I'll put American flag in the chat for everybody. Maybe there we go. I'm operational. All right, cool. So help us out. I'd appreciate it a lot. My America 250 for this morning is a letter from General Washington, Major General Charles Lee. Dear sir, I was very sorry to find by your letter on the 29th, which is the last I received from you, that you confirmed that you were confined by the gout, which is painful. But having had some casual account of your moving on, I expect you have over this settled with some plan with the Committee of Congress for your operations in the New York area. Therefore, any direction of mine would be unseasonable. If the Asia man of war lay in the situation described by us, I hope those gentlemen will think there is no impropriety in destroying of her if we can. I am going, my dear sir, to propose a matter to you which, if you should not meet with your approbation, we will give no offense, as none is intended. It is unnecessary for me to observe to you the multiplicity of business I'm involved in, the number of letters, which we read a lot of letters, orders and instructions I have to write, with many other matters which call loudly for aids that are pen men. I have long waited in expectation to Colonel Reed's return, which I have a letter to Colonel Reed this afternoon. But now despair of it. Randolph, who was also ready at his pen, leaves me little room to expect him. My business, in short, will not allow me to wait, as I have none but Mr. Harrison, for Mr. Moreland must be called of to attend his duty as commissary of musters, who can afford me much assistance in that way. and he, in the case of Colonel Reed, should not return, as the promise of succeeding him. Now, the intention of the preamble is to know whether if Mr. Palfrey, whom, from what I have seen and heard, is ready at his pen, should incline to come into my family, for I have never directly or indirectly intimidated the matter to him, although he has been very warmly recommended by some of his friends for anything that might cast up. You would consent to it. He would be of singular use to me on another account also, and that is the universal acquaintance he has with the people and characters of this government, with whom I have so much business to transact. Mr. Baylor is as good and obliging a young man as any in the world, as he can be serviceable in writing, delivering verbal orders as useful, but the duties of an aide-de-camp at headquarters cannot be properly discharged by any penman. Mr. White, in case of vacancy, expected to be provided for in my family, but as I believe he would be just as another as Baylor, I must, however disappointed he is be excused. Business multiplies so fast upon the hands that I am confined almost entirely in the house, and should be more so if I am deprived of that assistance which is necessarily to divide and take part of the trouble from my shoulders. Thus, my dear sir, I have laid the matter fully before you. If you could take part with Mr. Palfrey, and he is willing to come to me, it would be a great relief. I shall thank you both, as I really do not know where to meet with a man so much of my liking. It is if it should not prove agreeable to you both, the matter rests, and nothing more need to be said about it. Wishing you every success and felicity that your zeal in the cause deserves, and with the compliments of your female acquaintance in this family, I am, with regard, your affectionate dear sir, George Washington. Okay, it looks like George Washington is looking for someone that can actually write, that's dependable and it has longevity. That's what it looks like. And that General Lee has gout, which is, oh my goodness, man. Because if you remember a letter I read yesterday, he had to be carried in on a litter. So at least we know what's going on with him now. All right, so that was the letter for this morning. And like I said, I have a George Washington letter to Colonel Reed this afternoon. So it keeps building, right? All right, so a quick rundown. I'll just tell you quickly about the Dalmatian, because I got a lot to do, right? It's already 6:38. A Dalmatian, there are smash burger guys right here in Copper's Cove. Homemade burgers, everything's fresh. And they're located on the west side of Copper's Cove, behind bushes. And they're open for lunch today, which is Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2. And then they're open from 5:30 to 7, Tuesday through Saturday, unless they're sold out. All right, get your burgers now. All right, so get that set. All right, so onward to the to the morning brief from JPA report. I'm going to expand a little bit on this in the morning, this afternoon. Man, sorry, my eyes are bothering me. Okay, so the president won an appeals court ruling yesterday from the 9th U.S. Court of Appeals. That's on the West Coast. That's the liberal appeals court. and he won it in a 3-0 ruling, allowing the Trump administration to remove temporary protective status for Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. A federal appeals court in San Francisco granted a stay allowing the government to proceed with terminating temporary protective status for immigrants from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Hey, good morning, Padre. I see you're on the chat. The reliably liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued an order freezing a lower court ruling that would have vacated the Department of Homeland Security's decision to end the protections. The court found the government was likely to succeed on the grounds that the DHS decision was not arbitrary or capricious, suggesting that the decision-making process was rational. The government is likely to prevail in this argument that the Secretary's decision-making process in terminating TPS for Honduras, Nicaragua, and Nepal was an arbitrary, capricious, court documents said. In last year, Nome sought to terminate refugee status for 3 long-protected countries, arguing that under TPS, the government must check if the initial reasons of their protection still apply. All right, so that's court victory number 1. All right, so let me see. I'll put this right here. Court victory number 2. This is even better. So the California legislature passed, and their governor, Gavin Newsom, signed a law requiring ICE officials to demask. So what did our federal government do? They took them to court. And then what happened? Judge Christina Snyder, and you'd probably say, oh, she's got to be an Obama or a Biden or a Clinton appointee, right? You're right. A Clinton appointee, federal judge Christina Snyder, blocked a California law that would have forced ICE to remove their mask. Yeah, a liberal judge told a liberal state that federal agents did not have to remove their mask. That is a great victory for the president. A Los Angeles-based federal judge on Monday blocked California from enforcing its law that would require ICE agents to remove masks during federal enforcement operations. Judge Christina Snyder, appointed during the Clinton administration, granted a preliminary injunction against the No Secret Police Act, arguing that it discriminated against the federal government by violating the Supremacy Clause. They were told this over and over again that they couldn't do it, and they did it anyway. Under the constitutional clause, federal law takes precedence over any conflicting state or local law, rendering the lower level law unenforceable. Snyder said no secret police ruling hinged on California exempting its own state officers while penalizing federal agents. Wait a minute, let me read that again. Snyder said no secret police ruling hinged on California's exempting its own state officers while penalizing So California said its own officers can mask up, but federal officers could not wear a mask. That's stupidness. What are these Democrats and Newsom doing to the state of California? Well, wait a minute. The People's Republic of California. I forgot about that. It is full of socialism and controlled government and what do they call it? Authoritarianism. Okay, something like that, right? I'm on fire now, guys. I need to calm down a little bit. All right, but I mean it's a preliminary, but the fact is, that she ruled in favor of the Trump administration concerning these masks because California was pushing it, and now I see what happened. They exempted their own people from the law and then try to enforce it on federal law, which the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution says you can't do. All right. So, got that done. Now, what else? Oh, Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett says Republicans will absolutely vote for her in November. Yeah, boy. Because they're definitely won't vote for her in the primary because we have our own primary battle going. But do you honestly think that Jasmine Crockett will have Republicans vote for her? Now, I got some people in the chat right now. If you think, if you like Jasmine Crockett, let me know. Okay. If you don't like Jasmine Crockett in her we'll go the Graham Allen route. So Crockett sucks. Okay. CS. Just put CS in the live chat. Just to make it fun. Okay. Like cry liberals cry. Okay. So and then. Okay, so what she's saying here is Jasmine Crockett asserted that some Republicans would absolutely vote for her in a general election as freshman Congresswoman battles to become the state's Democrat nominee for the Senate during an appearance on MS Now the weeknight. Crockett was asked by Michael Steele whether Republicans could be convinced she is the representative need in Washington and if she were to reach the general election. And she said, oh, absolutely. Yeah, okay. She's full of it. I actually saw one of her commercials on TV this morning, and it was like an animated campaign commercial that was geared toward kids. You know, last time I checked, if you were under the age of 18, you can't vote. So why would you make a cartoon campaign commercial? Stupid. And I don't think she was wearing a wig in that one. And then right here is Jasmine Crockett thinks that driving an 18-wheeler is the same as driving a rental car. As someone who has spent decades training professional truck drivers, I take highway speed very seriously. This was written by Jeffrey Burkhart. As someone who has spent decades training professional truck drivers, I take driving safety very seriously. America's economy depends on a national freight network that moves goods through every strait across every major highway corridor and into every community. When safety standards in commercial drivers are weakened anywhere, the consequences ripple across the entire country, putting motorists, supply chains, and professional drivers at risk. That's why I'm deeply troubled by recent remarks by Democrat Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett during a Judicial House Committee hearing, suggesting that English language proficiency is not necessary to safely operate commercial motor vehicles. She equated it as the same practice as someone driving a rental car in a foreign country where they may not speak the language. Her assertion is misguided, dangerous, and dismissive on the professionalism of America's truck drivers. Okay, so I'm going to expand on this one later too. So I can tell you by experience. So when I was in Europe, I had a Veuster driver's license, right? Which was tough. And we even had to pass the European traffic sign test and their tests, because the laws in Germany are crazy when it comes to right-of-way. Also, you have to have an international driver's license to drive if you're going to drive a car in Europe. So I can attest wholeheartedly, and I know Rob is here, he understands use your driver's license. That'd be United States Army Europe, and international driver's license for an average Joe from the United States trying to drive in Europe. It is not the same as driving here in the United States, and definitely not the same as driving an 18-wheeler truck. She's full of it. She has no business being in Congress. Needless campaigning to be in the United States Senate. All right. So got that right there. I'll go back over that a little bit later. So we're at 22-minute mark. Man. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the Texas scorecard from articles I read yesterday. So there's this judge in, Judge Spedlin Gonzalez suspended for unlawfully detention of attorney. Judge Gonzalez in Bexar County, that's San Antonio. Bexar County Court 13 has been suspended without pay following her indictment for unlawfully restraining an attorney. She has served on the bench since 2019, when she became the first publicly homosexual judge elected in the county. The State Commission Judicial Conduct, which is responsible for investigating allegations of this kind, issued an order of suspension against Democrat judge on Thursday. Having considered the indictment and commission, it concluded that Judge Gonzalez is charged with one count of unlawful restraint, peace officer judge, a second-degree felony, and one count of official oppression, a Class A misdemeanor. The commission determined that Rosie Gonzalez should be suspended without pay from the Judicial Office County Court at Law Number 13, Bexar County, Texas. This suspension shall remain in effect until the charges set forth in the indictment are dismissed. Judge Gonzalez is acquitted of all charges. So her legal challenges began in December 2024 incident when she reportedly handcuffed San Antonio defense attorney Elizabeth Russell during a courtroom dispute. On December 17th, 2024, Russell appeared before Gonzalez with her client during a hearing to revoke probation. When the client responded to one of the allegations by pleading true, Russell asked for a moment to confer with her client. Gonzalez rejected this request, asserting that attorneys are not allowed to coach their clients. Russell then objected to proceedings with the hearing. Gonzalez threatened to hold Russell in contempt, saying that she is not allowed to be argumentative and argue just for the sake of an argument. And that defeats the purpose of being a lawyer. Okay? The judge then directed a bailiff to take Russell into custody and put her in the box. That's a quote unquote. Where she proceeded to lecture the attorney. You will not run around these courtrooms, especially courtroom 13. I think that you can just conduct yourself in a way you've been conducting yourself for at least the last 6 years, Miss Russell. And then following the release, she filed a criminal complaint against Gonzalez, alleging unlawful restraint, and then she was indicted for it. All right. So, wow. In recent years, Gonzalez is no stranger to controversy or disciplinary action. In 2022, Transportation Security Administration officers found a handgun in Judge Gonzalez's luggage at the San Antonio International Airport. No criminal charges were filed, and her spouse, a girl, was allowed to pick up the gun, but Judge Gonzalez was hit with a $2,400 fine. And in 2019, she was hit with the complaint of displaying a pride flag and other LGBT-themed items in her courtroom. And the SCJC initially required removal of the items, but a special court of the review ultimately ruled in her favor. She is just one judge that just causes problems after problems after problems. She needs to be gone. All right. I'm glad she got suspended and indicted. What do we got next? Texas DPS reveals plans to combat Homeland Security threats. Greg Abbott, our great governor, and Texas Department of Public Safety have revealed updated state framework for setting Homeland Security priorities for the next 5 years. Oh, I'm not going to get to this one. This is... I'll talk to you about this one later. We're at 6:56 anyway. All right. So we'll get back to this one later. All righty. So... Rob, I'll call you later, okay? All right. So what we got going on in this area right now, we had a forum last night. Like I was telling you, I got back late last night. We have our Lincoln Reagan dinner. I'll tell you about it in just a second. So for voting, early vote starts next Monday. It goes through the 27th, right? And primary day is March 3rd. And if there's a runoff in your race, that is the 26th of May. All right. So the next we have our Lincoln Reagan dinner. That is the 21st. That'd be 2 Saturdays from now at 6 p.m. at the Texas Station Event Center in Gatesville. There's still tickets available, especially with the tables. You can get your tickets by scanning the QR code or going to my show notes. And you'll see a link in there for the Lincoln Reagan dinner. You can click on that and it'll take you to our webpage where you can buy tickets, okay? Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is going to be our keynote speaker. So this is your chance to meet Dan Patrick and say hi, maybe get a picture. You never know. I'm pretty sure you will. All right. And then tickets are $60 a piece or $100 for a couple. All right. Steak and chicken as the main entrees. We have a live auction item, and we have silent auction items, and we have a cupcake giveaway. So you buy the cupcake in the middle. If it's discolored, you win a prize. Okay, really cool thing. But I think cupcakes cost like $10 or something like that. They're pretty neat. It's a fundraiser. All right. So it is almost 7 o'clock. So I will see everyone after my VA appointment. I'm going to raid to Vince. So I hope everybody has a great day. All right. And I'll see y'all later. Let me see here. There we go. And then, all right. I initiated the raid to Vince. Enjoy it. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.